This
It's a
conference
miracle.
will now be recorded.
Okay. So I'd like to open the Ashford Wetland and Watercourses Commission regularly scheduled meeting for Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. Item 1 is seating of alternates, and we don't have any. Item 2 is to review and approve the minutes of the May 4th, 2021 regularly scheduled meeting. Everybody get a copy of that?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
I have one comment.
Go ahead.
There is a typo in the discussion in the area that talks about the three floating road application. It says that 11 cubic yards are proposed to be removed. I believe that's supposed to be 1,100 cubic yards. It's just a typo.
Okay. Valerie, you with us? I don't see Valerie. Joe, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Joe, did you see that comment from Cheryl on?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And Cheryl's absolutely correct. It is 1,100 square feet.
Cubic yards.
Sorry, cubic yards. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we can change it.
Okay,
So
if you could.
so
I
it's
don't.
official.
Yep. You'll make that change first, Joe.
Sure.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes with the one correction?
I move we accept the corrected minutes.
And
I'll second it.
Rick, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I read right through that and never caught it.
Thank you. Okay. Item number 3.
Lenny,
Yes. Yep.
Lenny, Joe here. Is Valerie not with us?
I don't see her. John, do you know if she's there? If she's here, or where is she?
I don't see her.
I'm just asking to see if I need to be taking minutes or not here.
Yeah, please do, Joe. I did not hear that she was not going to be here, so I would just assume she was. So if you could please take notes, that would be great. Thank you.
All right. So on that last motion for the minutes, who motioned by who?
Gary.
Gary. And Rick seconded it. Rick seconded it.
Who seconded?
Rick. And
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay,
I'm good.
Okay, great. Okay, item number 3 is additions to agenda. I'm not sure if this is the right place, but I would like to put an addition here, and that is that Cheryl Chase did a very good job of crafting a summary, I guess, regarding the copy of the state DEEP letter dated April 30th, 2021 from Cheryl Baker regarding 96 Knott Highway. Mm-hmm. And I think because this thing has taken as long as it has, and there's a lot of history on the site as well, I did ask Cheryl Chase to maybe summarize what's happened so far, and then I wanted to add this to the minutes in its entirety. So I'll ask Cheryl to read it, but Joe, I sent you a copy anyway.
Yes.
So we don't have to, write it all down now. You can just use this, as part of it. So,
yep.
Cheryl Chase, would you mind reading your letter if you have it? If not, I can read it.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I filed it away in a folder on my desktop somewhere.
I can do it. I got it right in front of me.
Okay, that'd be great.
So the Ashford Inland Wetlands Agency has received a copy of a letter to the state DEEP dated April 30th, 2021 from Cheryl Baker regarding a matter at 96 Knott Highway. This site is the subject of a violation consisting of the placement of millings and the clearing of trees and a permit issued for the purpose of re, remediating the violation. A previous permit was issued on April 6, 2021 for work at this site. The letter from Ms. Baker states that a current permit issued as conditions has conditions that are inconsistent with a previous approval issued in 2007. She requests that the site be restored to its state prior to the 2007 permit and that the conditions in the 2000 permit be upheld. She is also concerned that oil will leak into the wetland from wrecked vehicles stored at the site. It is acknowledged that this agency did not follow up on the failure of the permittee to comply with the 2007 permit conditions. In addition, it is acknowledged that there is a discrepancy in the wetland mapping at the site, and that due to the lack of meetings during the initial part of the pandemic, progress on the matter was very slow. Initially, Ashford's Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission agent reported that the violation consisted of fill in the upland review area, and tree cutting in the wetland. This agency required the applicant to stop their work and submit an application. The application submitted included a wetland mapping that appeared to confirm that the fill was placed in the upland review area. However, a comparison of the wetland mapping to that done in 2007 showed that there may have been some fill placed after 2007. In addition, it was brought to our attention that the permit conditions of 2007 were not fulfilled. This application was discussed at length over many months. Because of the uncertainty of when or if fill had been placed at the site prior to the placement of the millings, the commission voted to approve the retention of the existing fill and impose a new set of conditions which it believed would fulfill the spirit of the conditions required 14 years ago. This time, however, a plan indicating how these requirements would be fulfilled was submitted prior to permit issuance, and a time limit was placed on these conditions, which is October 15th of this year. Regarding the concern of oil leaking, the permittee indicated during one of our initial meetings he attended that all wrecks brought to the site are drained of their fluids prior to storage at the site. In addition, large blocks of concrete currently separate the area where the cars are kept from the wetland. This agency will be keeping track of permit compliance, and our agent will visit this site regularly. The appeal period has expired for the issuance of this permit, so it will remain in place as well as will the cease and desist order until such time as the conditions are fulfilled. If the permittee fails to complete these requirements, the agency can follow up with additional enforcement actions, which could include any remedy allowed by statute or regulation. So, um, uh, what prompted a lot of this was that the DEEP actually contacted Cheryl Chase because her name was, mentioned in Cheryl Baker's correspondence. So they had a conversation. Cheryl, you want to just give us a summary of what that conversation was?
Well, I never actually spoke to anyone. I had a text message from my old colleague, one of my old colleagues, and he simply mentioned that my name was mentioned in this letter, and I did actually follow up with an offer to give them background, which they did not take me up on, except that I did mention in an email to the person who was responsible for responding to the log letter, just that we had issued a permit with conditions that have a time frame. So and that we would be following up. So that's basically all I said.
Okay.
And I do know that they had they always have a deadline to respond to these log letters, and however, I'm assuming that we have not received a response. As as the people who were CC'd on the log letter, I think that we would get a copy of their response. So I'm guessing that they have not yet sent a response to
Okay.
Ms. Baker. So
Great. Okay. Well,
Are
thank
we
you.
still in the
So
cease and desist mode right now, or where are we?
Yeah, a permit was issued a couple of meetings ago,
Right.
but we did vote, I believe, to leave the cease and desist in place,
Okay.
leave the violation in place until they've actually complied with the
Yeah.
permit conditions. Is
Yeah.
that correct, Lenny? That's
Yes,
your,
it is. Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, we considered the 2007 application and what the conditions were. We realized that some of the conditions were not fully complied with, and so this new application gave us a new wetland delineation, a new wetland report, a new engineering plan. We did a recent site walk, and we reviewed this over a good length of time, and then we finally issued a permit with conditions, and and the and that was was approved, and the appeal period has elapsed. So at this point, all that's left is that the cease and desist order would remain in place. That we will monitor what's happening up until October 15th, and hopefully the work will will start and be finished by that time. And then once the work is done and April 15th or early, October 15th or earlier comes, we can hopefully remove the cease and desist order. But at this point, I don't know what else we could do. I think we've done an awful lot of good hard work on this. And if the DEP does contact us, um, we'll at least have this in our minutes. We can refer back to that. And, if need be, I can speak to them, or Cheryl and I can speak to them if necessary. So we haven't heard anything. So as of right now, I don't see anything else we need to do at this point. Joe, has you seen any activity out there lately?
No, I haven't, and we have not received any response from DEP that I know of.
Good. Okay. Anybody else want to make any comments or questions about this DEP letter? Good. Okay. Then,
Lenny,
yep. Yes. Yep.
before you move off of additions to the agenda, I
Yep.
wondered if we should also add a discussion about the CACUIC conference and whether we could sign up for that.
Yeah.
Is that?
We can do it now. I was going to hold that to the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But just remind me. But I do have it in front of me. Okay. So, any other important additions to the agenda? Anybody? Okay, none. So let's move on to item number 4, which is old business. This is the June Norcross Webster Boy Scout Camp, 231 Ashford Center Road, the driveway construction. So several of us went on a site walk there, and I believe that we did report on that walk. And we tried to bring this up at the last meeting, but unfortunately we didn't have a quorum. So, but now we do. So I'd like to maybe, Joe, maybe you could just refresh our memory real quickly on where we stand.
Glenn, can you interrupt for a second? Rick Zulik,
Yeah.
I'd like to recuse myself on this
Okay. Thanks, Rick.
particular application. Thank you.
Okay. Joe, so could you maybe just refresh our memory briefly?
Yeah, I think you summed it up, Lenny. We're at the point where we need to make a decision. I believe Mike Healy was going to be representing the applicant. I don't know if he's on tonight or not.
Yes,
Yes,
he
I
is.
am.
He is.
I'm here. Yep.
So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Okay. Hi, Mike.
Hello. Good evening. I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize if I'm not speaking clearly. I was at a conference last week and ruined my whole weekend. So anyways, I had sent Joe an email today. I don't know if Joe, if you had a chance to pass that on to the commission members.
I did that. Yeah, thanks for the last minute submission. LOL.
Yeah. So I'm sorry about the last minute, but I was just going over my notes and anything that might have been outstanding, and so there was some question on the plantings that we were proposing, and so we just put together a PDF file of the five different species of shrubs that we're proposing adjacent to the wetland crossing, as sort of to improve hopefully to improve the buffer conditions at that location, as opposed to just planting it to grass. So the shrubs that I've spoke to at least 2 soil scientists, a wetland scientist, and 2 landscape architects, and I think they all came to the same consensus that what we were proposing was appropriate. We did make one change. We removed the witch hazel and added high bush blueberry, and a little bit more consistent with the type of shrubs that are being planted. They're also offered at excuse me, the New England Wetland Plants Incorporated over in Amherst, Mass. So all these plants could be purchased at one location. So that makes it nice and convenient. And so, we added a little bit of the write-up, shade tolerance, habitat, mature size, so on and so forth. I think it's a good approach to, it's sort of a mitigated measure. It's certainly not a one-to-one replacement, but it is in an attempt to at least enhance the wetland buffer at that, where it transitions to the wetlands at that crossing location. So we did that, and I did recall from I think it was the April meeting that Cheryl had questioned the outlet control sizing, and we looked over our notes on that and found out that it was calculated initially for a lower design flow, and so we've upgraded that. So the actual size of the modified riprap pads were increased just slightly by about 2 feet in length and 1 or 2 feet in width. So they're all in conformance with each other. And what I've done is with the plans, I made some very minor additions, and then I took on the PDF, made a red cloud revision or circled the areas that were updated to that effect. So there was only a couple of minor changes. I'd be happy to go over those in more detail, but they were pretty much in line with the planting list and the outlet control sizing. So I guess I'll leave it at that. I think that we were able to see the whole site from the site walk, and I think that it's a good plan, and it allows the Boy Scouts to have trail access to other located parts of their property that
Okay.
were not
All right.
accessible.
Yeah, I think you did a good job. So let me just make a few comments. We'll go around the board and see where we stand. But I was on the site walk. I am satisfied that the location of the driveway is fairly placed, and that there doesn't seem to be an alternate route that could be taken that would further protect the wetlands. It's the road itself is being constructed for safety purposes, with the truck traffic and all, and children and everything. So it's a reasonable thing to be able to build, and it's seems to be in the right place. I'm pleased that you're paying some attention to the plantings. Thank you, Cheryl, for your comments on the outlet size and the upgrading of that. That was good. Fine for you. I feel like we did discuss the wetland report in the past, and it appeared to me, at least, to be well written, and I really didn't have many questions about it. So at this point, I feel like we should be at a point where we can at least make a decision on this. That's my opinion. So now I want to go around the room. Peter, you might as well be first. Do you have any further questions or comments regarding this application?
I'm ready to say, let's vote on it.
Okay. All right. Gary, how about you?
Nothing further.
Okay. Cheryl?
I agree with what you said, and I will be ready to approve with with the revisions that were received today. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm all set.
All right. Then I think I am too. So Cheryl, would you mind making a motion on this application?
Sure. I move that we approve this application with the revisions that were received as of today, June 1st, and with the condition that the plantings that are indicated on the plan um, be be included and monitored for success.
I'll
Great.
second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions, comments on that? None. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion passed. Thank you. Yeah. Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. Rick, you coming back? Rick, you back and
Yes,
back
I
with us?
am. I'm
Okay.
back. Yep.
All right. So next is item B, which is the 3 floating road pond construction. So several of us did a site walk. Actually, everybody that's on the call did. And so, Rick, you were on a site walk. Maybe you can give us a brief outline of what you saw on the site walk, and then I guess Cheryl, because we were separated. So you could go first.
Okay. What I observed on the site walk was a wetland area abutting the Sabo Pond. My understanding is that Mr. Gronis is proposing an excavation to create a pond. 80% of it is in the wetland, 20% of it is in the upland area. And there was some discussion over a berm that he wanted to put along the edge so that he could mow it and walk around his pond and enjoy it. I am not certain where he stands on that at this point. You'd have to ask him, but it's a serious wetland. It's a big wetland. Beyond that, I don't have much.
Okay. Thank you. Cheryl, you want to give us your observations?
Sure. Not a lot different from Rick, except just that what I also observed was Sable Pond itself seems to be losing its water volume and sort of trading it for a pretty significant emergent vegetation, and it could be the dam itself that holds Sable Pond back is compromised. I did actually take a peek at that, and it's the water level clearly has dropped over the years, and so that's basically what I saw at the site,
Okay.
and it is very wet where the pond is proposed to be constructed.
Good. Thank you. Gary, you were there. Do you have any thing you want to add?
I'm unaware of what the pond used to be like, but I agree with Cheryl in that there seems to be a lot of vegetation there.
Mhm.
So I can only assume that the water level is down from what it once was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so just a quick reminder. So the last time we reviewed this application, we did ask the applicants. And are they there? They're here today, right?
Yes, they are.
No?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay, so at the last meeting, I believe that we had asked, for maybe a soil scientist report or an engineered plan, um, uh, and there was, we wanted to, really try to understand the impact on the environment, and I'd like to hear from the applicant first as to what new information you might have sent or any more information you'd like to present to us. Um, would either of you like to go?
Yes, I'll talk on that. I did have a soil scientist come out, but he didn't do no testing. He agrees with everybody. It is very wet, and I agree with that. It's very wet. Um, the dam is down probably 2 to 3 feet. I'm still would like to see if I could dig, but I don't know about the berm and the whole 9 yards. It would be nice if I could mow around it. But also there was a proposal about just digging and removing all the soils and just leave the natural vegetation around the pond. It wouldn't be a berm. So I'm kind of at a standstill, and I'll do what I have to do to go further on it, I think, unless it got into, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, where do I go now?
Yeah.
Do I have
Okay.
to get an engineer? Do I
Yep.
have to do this?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for allowing us to meet with you and to walk your property and all the information that you gave us. I want to just try to understand. So the the, uh, there's a sentence in this thing that says these they essentially want a small pond for their two water dogs and grandchildren to enjoy, and they hope to add fish. Now, there is section 4 of our regulations. It talks about the permitted uses as of right and non-regulated uses, and it goes into some explanation about grazing, farming, nurseries, garden of crops, farm ponds, 3 acres or less in size. And my understanding is that, if you are, and I think we might have talked about this a little bit out there, but I'm not sure. But, you do have a bunch of animals there and dogs and things. And, you know, you mentioned to us that it's really difficult for animals to try to, get water out of what's there because it's just the land is just undulating and not easy to walk on, and so I'm not sure if you're suggesting to us that this is a farm pond or is this a pond where you're going to enjoy, I guess, as you used to do in the past when you used to swim and things in the pond when you were growing up. So there's two different things. I mean, the notes here say, seem to talk about, uh, you know, the, your dogs and things like that. But it also talks about grandchildren and it talks about fish. So I'm confused as to whether or not the pond is going to be made, for personal recreation purposes, or is it going to be something that's going to be useful? If the pond is shallow, I don't see how that could really be a personal use. Nobody's going to be diving in a small muddy pond. But if you tell me that the thing is going to be really deep and all that, then maybe it is for recreational purposes. So if you could maybe just to tell me a little bit more about what you're planning on using it for. And then Rick said it good right in the end. He's wondered about the intention as to create a pond. One either digs a hole or builds a dam. So, so give us a little more insight as to what you want to do with it. Why you want to build this pond.
Okay, sorry. I want to go deep as I can. I was looking at 12, but if I can go 15, 16, that seems to be a better pond where you get to the cooler water. And we plan on staying right here in town, and we're looking at some goats, some small little pygmy goats, and just, so everybody can enjoy it. Maybe it wouldn't be a swimming hole, but it would be, I don't know how the water would turn out, to be honest with you. Um,
Okay. Well, so that's really the reason why we think we should get a wetland soil scientist
okay,
report on this so that we can, really understand, how the environment may be affected by the construction of this kind of pond. Now, one of the questions we had last time also, Cheryl, maybe you could speak to this, was that the pond, seemed to be just below the 5,000 square feet that I guess the old regulations would have required us to then bring this whole thing to the Army Corps of Engineers. But you've enlightened me. I was not aware of the fact that maybe that's old. Could you tell me a little bit, or tell us all a little bit about the size and the 5,000 square foot?
Okay, well, so first of all, there is no 5,000 square foot threshold anymore. There is, they have issued the Army Corps in 2016 issued an activity-based general permit. And if an activity can meet, it can fall under one of the descriptions of their, I don't know, they have 25 categories or something like that. If it can fall under one of those things, then it can meet the general permit, and there's various requirements, whether it's what they call self-verification or a authorization, required. There's various levels. I did have some conversations with the Corps and with the Deep who regulate this permit jointly, and they were uncertain of whether or not this activity could fall under their general permit at all. However, that having been said, it's not actually our responsibility to bring it to the Corps' attention. It's the landowner's responsibility. We don't have an obligation to report to the Corps or to the Deep, one way or the other. So I had provided all that information to Joe in the hopes that it would get passed along to the applicant, so they could just take a look at what their own responsibility to the feds might be. But we don't really have to concern ourselves with it. I hope that makes sense.
Okay. So, so Charlie, so it sounds like you spoke to a wetland soil scientist and he gave you some feedback, but
he did.
nothing in writing, and you haven't actually engaged him. Is that right?
That is correct. Because he
Okay.
wasn't sure about whether it'd be a good project to proceed with or not, you
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah.
I,
So it sounds like maybe you may need to speak to him a little bit more,
yeah,
and give him a better idea of exactly what you want to build, and then maybe he could, I mean, I mean, the best thing would be to get a written report from him, for us to review, and maybe some sort of an engineered plan or map that we can, review. But short of that, um, I'm not sure what we can. We don't have a full application in my mind, uh, enough for us to understand what you want to do and to vote on it. So Joe, are we still? Do we still have some additional time on these applications, or are we back to the old time frame?
I still believe that we still have the 90-day grace period that the governor enacted, but I need to research that to be sure.
Okay.
But we're still within our
Right.
65-day time limit with this application.
Yeah. So, so Charlie, it doesn't sound to me like you have a firm plan in mind, and we've already told you that the information that you've presently given us is lacking, and so maybe you could, go back and speak to your soil scientist, um, and maybe give us a better idea of exactly what you're planning to do. What is the real use of the pond, and whether or not you're willing to put together an engineering plan and and provide a soils report for us. Um, because I think those things, we need those things in order to make a reasonably good judgment on this. It's not a small application. I don't, it's not something that's unusual. We've looked at ponds in the town before. I think Rick, you did one for us on the Bash property a while ago, and we did a pond across the street from uh, off of 89. And I know, Joe, you mentioned that there were several ponds in other towns that you've looked at, but in all those cases, we did need a soils report and we did need a plan. So I think at a minimum, we're fairly consistent in that those are things that we definitely need.
And
So
Lenny, can I also
sure,
interject?
sure.
So I don't know, Joe, if you were able to send my questions to the applicant, but I know they were sent to the entire commission. I had numerous questions about water handling and the ENS control plan and the excavations and that sort of thing, and in addition to the information that Lenny's asking for. So, so those are some of the questions that I would have asked of, say, a representative or someone who had actually designed the pond. So I don't know, Joe, if you can get that to them or.
Cheryl, we did get it.
Yeah,
Oh, you did get it.
yeah,
Okay, great.
The
yeah, I
comments and
did
the
send it to him.
questions regarding. So these can all be answered by an engineer and
Yes,
soil
they should be.
scientist?
Yep.
Okay, could I speak further on this? I just wasn't aware if I would have to go through an engineer or a surveyor. So what
Yeah.
would be my best approach, to survey it?
Well, why don't you speak with Joe, because Joe, he talks to all of the applicants, and he'll help you, guide you as to which engineering companies may be best suited for this type of an application, and he might give you some direction as to various soil scientists that also have worked in town and maybe have experience with ponds. Like I say, we have reviewed these things in the past, and with some discussion and some changes along the way, they eventually were approved, and Joe's telling us that other towns have also had similar applications, and they were approved. So I understand, you want to try to do this as cheaply as possible, but we also have an obligation to make sure that we treat everybody fairly with similar applications, and also that we have enough information, for us to make a good judgment on it. So that's all. So I mean, unless you have any other questions, maybe you can speak with Joe tomorrow or offline, and he could give you a little more feedback. Okay?
Yeah, I think the questions I would be asking, I think Joe could answer them, and then maybe I could have a little more
I,
together on it.
I think so. Joe's very
Um,
good. I'm sure he'll help you.
very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to add anything to the discussion here? Okay. Thank you, guys. Let's move on.
Okay, thank you.
So, you're welcome. So, item number 5 is the agent's report. And Joe, we're going to let you go ahead and make your report, but Cheryl already started talking. I think she was starting to talk about the Kakiwik first annual mid-year environmental conference, June 12th. Was wondering, I guess, if anybody wanted to go to that and all. Is that what you were trying to say, Cheryl?
Yeah, I was hoping to sign up for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've signed up for stuff on my own before, but I know that that's frowned upon, and I know the town usually likes to sign us up. So
Yeah.
I would like to do that if there's an opportunity. So
Okay. So, would anybody else be interested in it? No? Okay. So, it looks like the registration fee has to be in by June 5th.
Yep.
So, uh, Cheryl, since you know Cheryl Baker pretty well, maybe you could just send her a quick email.
Sure.
Now, is this a live one?
No,
It's
online.
online,
Yeah.
and it's on the 12th. I just want to see what the date. So the 12th, that's a Saturday. It's a Saturday, and it's from 8:45 to 1:30. Okay, well, you know what? Why don't you ask her to put for two in
Okay.
there, and then if nobody else wants it, then maybe I'll take the second one. But so you have a few days to think about it. But let's put in for two. So we are members. So it looks like uh, how much would it cost then? Can save $30.
Not a lot.
Yeah. How much is it actually?
Uh, Hang on. I'll look at my email.
Huh, don't seem to see it on here. All I see
It's
is how much we can save.
yeah.
Oh, so it's $30
It's
off the
$50.
$50. So 20 bucks,
It's
20
20
each.
bucks. Yeah, it's
Okay.
20
Yeah. So
bucks if you
that's
remember.
fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So please do for two. Um, okay. And then okay. So agent report, Joe. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, everything's been quiet. Other than just receiving correspondence and stuff.
Yep.
We've been doing good. I did meet with we meet with the first selectman, the DPW director, and Tom Martin on Ashford Lake. We are still having some runoff issues with what's the name of the road?
Lakeside or no?
Not
Sunset.
Amadon Drive.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Shoot, I can't remember the name of the road. But anyways, it's a tough road. We got a lot of water coming down it. It's a gravel road. So the Lake Association is working with a engineer on a plan to try to separate some of the solids out. The town is talking about making upgrades to the road as far as grading and adding some catch basins to try to slow the water down, riprap trenches, that type of thing. So I'm continuing to monitor that, and hopefully we can reduce sediment loads into the lake because of stormwater runoff.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep us posted, Joe, please.
Campert Drive. Sorry, Campert Drive.
Yep. Okay. All right. Anything else, Joe?
Oh, that's it.
Okay. So moving on to number 6, I just wanted to let everybody know that Ken Gary has officially resigned from our commission. He just sent us a very short note thanking us for, allowing us to be on the commission and all that kind of stuff. So I would like to at least in the minutes here just acknowledge that he was a member of our commission, and that we appreciated his membership and his input and his service to the community, and wish him well, and that if he ever decides to come back, his place is still open. And So maybe Joe, you can just write something along those lines. And
Yep.
although I did get an email from him, apparently it needs to be a handwritten letter, or at least a letter with a wet signature, in order for him to officially be able to be taken off of our out of our commission. Cheryl, also, if you look at the website, you're still mentioned there as an alternate.
Right.
So I sent a note to Cheryl Baker asking her to maybe change that for us.
I saw that.
And so that's it. Any other members have any comments?
Have we heard from Ray Fenn lately?
From who?
Ray Fenn?
Well, I not lately, but I did speak to him 4 or 5 months ago. He said that he's okay, but that he feels like he would like to probably step away from our committee as well. That in his words, I'm getting long in the tooth. So that's typical Ray. And so I miss him. I mean, he was just terrific all the time he was on. But so he has not officially removed himself, but I'll probably follow up with him in a few more months. At least before the end of the year, so that we at least have all the people that are on our commission are officially there, and the ones that aren't coming. I have not heard from Jack either, so I don't know what his status is. But
It would be great that as maybe as we get back into in-person meetings, if these guys could at least come. I know that they haven't. I think you mentioned, Lenny, that they really were uninterested in trying to navigate this computer issue. So perhaps at an in-person meeting, they might be willing to come.
Yeah,
At least a few times.
I think you're right. But they have been getting all the correspondence and all that, and so But yes, thank you for that, Cheryl, and I'll keep that in mind. Okay, any other member comments?
Yes. Are we finally getting back to in-person meetings next month?
That is my understanding, Peter. We should have had it this month, and I don't know why it didn't happen. John, do you know what happened? Because you were telling us that the executive orders had somehow expired last month, and that we should have been able to join.
They were extended, I think.
They were extended through They were extended through the fiscal year, and it's possible that the legislature may provide for some sort of long-term hybrid meeting mandate or solution. But the executive orders were extended through fiscal year.
So just for my own, I went to church on Sunday, for instance, here in town, and half the people had masks and half did not. The ones that did not have masks were not allowed to sing, but that was it. I went to the movies yesterday in Manchester and walked in with no mask, and no one asked a question. And a lot of people had no mask, and so I'm not sure what the real rules are anymore. But
Town hall open?
It's what?
Is town hall open?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's all locked up still.
Still locked up.
Yeah.
Mansfield has theirs open.
Which one?
I say Mansfield has theirs open.
Yeah. I was in Rocky Hill last a couple weeks ago. It was open. It was open, and people were not even wearing masks 2 weeks ago. I spent a lot of time in there. So I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag at this point. But anyway, John, if you could please let us know.
I tried to get into Mansfield last week, and it was they wouldn't let me in. It's not wide open if it's open.
Yeah. Rocky Hill was wide open. I know that. But anyway, John, could you maybe follow up with either me or Joe, sometime prior to the next meeting, so that we can let the members know, because I think some of us were confused, and I had to ask Joe to send us another agenda. So Okay.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. I would also note that this is the call of the first selectman. So
Yeah.
I'm just a meeting facilitator. I would suggest you reach out to the first selectman.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll do that then. I'll do that, and I'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, back up. Who made the motion?
Gary made it, and Peter and Rick
Peter.
seconded it at the same
They
time.
both did, or who did? Who
Yeah, they
seconded?
both seconded it.
That's not possible.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Take
I
your
saw
pick.
Peter light up first, so I think
All
it was
right.
Peter.
All right,
Rick
we'll
did the
go
last
with
one,
Peter.
and let Peter do this one.
We'll do
Okay.
it, Peter.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, great.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
See you
it.
next month,
Okay.
hopefully in
Thank you,
person.
everyone.
Thank you. Yep. I'll let you know. Bye-bye.